Lately, I've been seeing a lot of negativity surrounding pop culture, especially Disney, and how they handled the intellectual properties of Star Wars and Marvel and their own home brand entertainment. A lot of this negativity is centered on the woke ideology that is being forced upon the public by entertainment companies in an effort to circumvent the family and insert these new woke values and ideologies directly into the minds of the children. So let's get into it. Caesar, it's time for another video. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. This is the Reluctant Gringo back with another topic to consider. I've been a nerd since I can remember. Dungeons and Dragons, DC, Marvel, horror movies. I'm a Jason Voorhees guy, by the way. Professional wrestling. Yeah, no shit. Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, Star Blazers, Voltron, Silverhawks, Transformers, G.I. Joe, He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. Shit. I was a child of the 80s and a teenager of the 90s. I loved it all. But the one thing that is king, the one IP that defined me as a nerd, that gave me the love of fantasy and imagination and a true sense of what is good in this world and what evil truly looks like? Star Wars. I was only 3 years old when I first saw Luke and Leia swing across that chasm in the Death Star, and that was it. I was hooked. I was in. It was a marriage meant to be. And like a lot of you, I had my issues with the prequel trilogy, but I knew George Lucas was trying to do something. I knew what he was trying to say. I understood the arc of the characters he wanted to present, and that is what is endearing about George and makes him one of the elite storytellers of our time. He tells a story. He does not preach, but still, his stories are able to get a message across. Unfortunately, the writers at Disney, they don't understand this. Or they're incapable of it. Or they're just not very good at their job. Or, and this is probably the case, it's a combination of all three, along with the fact that they're being directed to write woke lectures instead of great characters.
One of our execs stood up and said, we only have a handful of queer leads in our content. And I went, what?
Our leadership over there has been so welcoming to my not at all secret gay agenda. And so
the characters of the original Star Wars trilogy have lasted for generations and will continue to do so despite the efforts of Lucasfilm. And I think that is what really bites them in the ass over at the House of Mouse. They want their characters with their values and their message to have that same kind of impact on the zeitgeist as the originals.
That's not how the Force works. Oh, really? You're cold?
But they won't. And they've been rejected. And instead of sowing unity and cohesion among one of the most rabid fan bases in history, they've sown division and ensured their own failure. Rey, Finn, Poe, Snoke, these are not legacy characters, and nor will they ever be. Luke, regardless of how they try to tear him down, will always be who we remember him to be. Leia was a strong female character, without having her feminine beauty or machinations ripped away from her. Han will always be the coolest space pirate you'll ever meet, period. End of sentence. His proposed replacement will be forgotten, along with the Mary Sue Rey, in a matter of years. They mean nothing. They have no impact. And the more they try to push them, the more we push back. So, as the years of negativity have filled the streaming platforms, filled with so-called toxic fans, I have decided to evaluate my own fandom. And here's what I found. I stopped reading the books. I stopped reading the comics. I stopped buying the video games. I stopped talking about Star Wars. I stopped watching the D+ shows. I stopped buying the merchandise. I stopped watching Disney altogether. I canceled my D+ subscription. And it wasn't out of anger or spite. I was just done with the bad product. I participated in the idea of capitalism. I did not like the product, so I will not buy the product. I will find something else to spend my money on and entertain me. I noticed something else. My kids stopped talking about Star Wars, and Disney, and Marvel, and they too had moved on to other hobbies and other forms of entertainment. They too, like me, had just put down our past and walked away to something more enjoyable.
Not the pastime. Kill it if you
And I'm okay with this. My kids are okay with this. I'm not angry or upset. It's just like a relationship that has run its course and those involved have grown apart. So to Lucasfilm and Disney and any other studio or content creator out there, continue to do what you want. If you want to pursue a woke agenda, a gay agenda, a trans agenda, an anti-male agenda, whatever it is that you want, you should do that. Because I realize now that I can hold on to the memories and the feelings that I have from the things that I love. No matter how hard you try, you can never take those away. And that capitalism is a great thing, because in this momentary lapse of reason, where you have forgotten that you are just a seller of goods and services, it is the free market that will set your worth and determine your profits. I have a feeling after you've learned this lesson, you will understand the people who are pressuring you to pursue your wokeness and turn on the people who help make you a success are not giving you anything in return. And like the relationship I referenced earlier, you will find yourself having to walk away. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe. It really helps out the channel. As always, for Caesar and for me, from south of the border, salut and a huevo.